Morning, folks. This is the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. Today is a somber day. Today is Friday, July 19th, I believe, 2004. And I regret to inform you that the former president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, has had an assassination attempt on his life. I know this may come as a shock to many of you. I know that you were not expecting to open your smartphone or computer and log into this fine program today and have this be the very first place that you heard this. But that is the burden that I am faced with today. I have to be the very first one to let you know about this, unless maybe you have been paying a little bit of attention and you've seen it, and you've seen that it is the only thing that anyone can talk about, and it has gone from a near tragedy to just a piece of gum that the content machine has chewed out. I had a very interesting experience with it. Maybe this is interesting, okay? Because I don't want to have this be, it would feel weird not to cover it, but I do not want this to be the fifth place that you heard the third thing about it. That's not what we want to do here today. I will tell you a little bit about my own personal experience. I was in San Diego. I had shows that night. Two things that it is an interesting thing to find out about when you have to go on stage. It is an interesting thing to find out about when you are in San Diego. That is not the most, is it the most ideal place to be generally? I would say it is. San Diego is a hell of a town and a hell of a time. Boy, did we have some fun. Thank you to everyone who came out. That was a lovely time. But an interesting place to learn about a moment of geopolitical significance. I was walking back from the beach. Okay, I got a text from a group chat that I'm in. It says they just shot at Trump. I said, oh my God. But I was in PB. People were just like, did you say shots? Are we ripping shots? That is the general PB vibe, and it's a great vibe. And I was happy to get on that vibe later. Okay? Taking shots and getting an earful. Folks, we had a Trump night. But learning about something like that in San Diego is interesting because San Diego defines itself by being politically disengaged. Yes, it is a moderate region. Okay, there is more red than the rest of the very blue state that it's in, at least as far as big cities go. But it's just generally a place where people are just kind of like, what? Like, oh, fuck. Like the general vibe was like, that's fucking crazy, dude. Whoa, what are we doing later? Are we doing Cali burritos or what? Like, that was kind of the vibe, which was nice, but I realized, I was like, I got to do this. So as a comedian, you hear about it, and my immediate thought is I was like, I can't open the show with anything else. Actually, I should be honest about this so that I don't look like a lunatic. My first thought was, what the fuck is going on? And we basically, I think it was, we're walking back from the beach. It's 3 p.m. We get the text. The show's at 7. We got to leave at like 5:30 to go get cameras and shit set up. Literally, it was like stuff we had planned that afternoon, social engagements, work. It was none of it. It was like, no, we are glued to the TV. We need to find out what is going on. I didn't realize that we would still not really know what is going on, and it's Thursday. So that's not ideal, but that is, I guess, how it works in this environment. So we are just watching it, trying to figure out what's happening, trying to figure out what it means. Is he okay? You know, left, right, or center. I think that's the first thought. This is not. I wish I had a more fun hot take for you, but I'm just not that shitty of a guy. I was like, you know, you got to have the guy be okay. I mean, also if he got shot, I'm like, are we doing the show? It's showbiz, darling. It comes first. The show must go on. But once it became clear that he was fine, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be an interesting moment. I mean, if you've been on Instagram, you've seen every comedian's taking a hack at it. we cleared the schedule and we're just like, we got to think about this. I was just watching, thinking about it, trying to prepare for the show. Yeah, of course, because I want my joke to be good. Of course, I want it to do well online. But most importantly, my thought is like, everyone coming in here, granted they may or may not have been watching, this is what's going on. So you can't just like pull up to the show and just do an hour of not talking about it, hopping straight into whatever. Luckily, I have a very political set, so it worked out, it was an easy transition. But still, you want to make sure you're on the same page as people, and it's really hard when something that crazy happens to figure out, A, what page people are on, and B, what you think about it. I'm still confused. So we spent a lot of time. I was able to end up writing a joke. I'll throw it in. A lot of you may have seen it, but it's relevant because we're talking about the experience. This is we had a few hours. We put it together. This is what we came up with here.
Y'all see Trump win the election today? Did you guys see that? That is what happened right there. That is, love him or hate him, he has a sense of the moment. That was dude. He got shot in the face, and he was on the ground, and he was like, "For the love of God, I need a photograph right now. I need." That is Instagram hoe levels of dedication to the craft. That was like an OnlyFans chick at Nobu with her sugar daddy to the Secret Service. Get out of the way, I need this. And that was... People were like, Biden couldn't have done it. Biden would have done better. Biden would have just kept talking. You would have been this. Medicare, that's why we built the damn thing. That's just, everyone's screaming. He's like, having ice cream? And then RFK, they would have got RFK. They would have hit him. Yeah, they wouldn't have, he would not. He would have been with Dad. They would have. I don't know who they, I'm saying that. I don't know who they is. Although I'm assuming if they shot Trump, pronouns could be in the air. I don't know. I do think we can all agree that there's no place for violence. The only thing that should be killing either of these candidates is time very soon. Father time with the same accuracy as the shooter tonight. Just like, I'm getting close. I swear to God. I'm shaving him.
So there it is. That's kind of how we decided to open the show to make everything work out. It's not the most important thing in the world, but like I'm just trying to tell you my experience because I think everyone's been processing this in a very different way. I mean, it's clear to me that everyone's processing it in a very different way because I've been listening to everything I can get my hands on. I've been listening to, you listen to someone like the Pod Save America guys, and they're like strategically like, oh, what do we do? They're saying, oh, this isn't going to change anyone's idea. You listen to anyone on the right, they're like, Trump knows he won. That's why he picked J.D. Vance. He's cakewalking it all the way in. You listen to someone like... This may be, depending on what your content diet is, there's a popular political streamer named Destiny, and let's say his take's scalding hot. He was making fun of the deceased crowd member, and basically, I'm not necessarily going to repeat his jokes, but basically clowning on the guy, saying... I would say I wouldn't say it, but he is correctly stating that guy may have done the same thing if it happened to someone else based on some of his internet history and the way that people on the right tend to digest this stuff, even though they're pretending like they wouldn't do that now. So I just think we've gotten to a really lovely place online where everyone has justified being a piece of shit because everyone else is doing it. And a place that when you touch grass and go out into the real world, you realize is not so common. Like that's the biggest split and divide that I've seen is when I consume online content and I watch how people react to this shit, it's very obvious that people are like, they've figured out their take, they've figured out what works for them, and they're going to hammer that lane primarily. And then in the real world, if you try to say anything as outlandish as so-and-so who was tragically struck deserved it, and I'm allowed to say that because they would have done the same thing, people would just go, that's fucking disgusting. Generally. But maybe that's because the online only promotes the most ridiculous take. So maybe I should come up with some hot takes. No, I'm just kidding. Not worth it to me. I have an actual craft. It's one of those things. I don't know if this is my own personal experience, but I just find that these days, whenever something happens, you go from feeling it emotionally to watching it just turn into content before your eyes. And the only pieces of fucking shit who engage in that are content creators. I'm talking podcasters. I'm talking comedians. I'm talking people who wrote jokes about this shit. It is my job. It is what it is. And I do think it's cathartic to some degree, especially when you're not getting information from anywhere else. But it's weird, right? Like this objectively, like this thing happens that is a life and death moment, like a clarifying, this is bigger than what we're going to make of it thing. And then immediately it becomes everyone's turn to contentize it. Okay, obviously I've clowned on myself. I've clowned on creators, but also even Trump knows I'm having this moment. He knows I'm pivoting. I'm using this, okay, as he should. People on the left are okay, this is how are we going to strategize and use this to our benefit? That's how it works, but it is kind of gross. It is interesting. They couldn't get into the shooter's phone, and they just got in, and very early reporting is suggesting that he was considering going for both, which is a very interesting. Oh, there comes a gardener. I support immigration, folks. We're here in the suburbs. Look, what was that? The point is very simple. No one will learn from this. Okay, this will be utilized. Ideally, the Secret Service will learn from it. But apparently, this guy had been looking up the whereabouts of both Biden and Trump. Now, some people are going to say that's what they want you to think. This is a psyop. But from what I can tell from the sources that I trust, that is what they have found in his phone, which is crazy to me that someone would think they needed to kill Biden. Biden seems like the most unlikely candidate to get assassinated unless it was from one of his own donors. I think that would probably be it. Real truther, does he have COVID or is he taking a breather? Dropping out of the 2024 race due to COVID would be a wild pitch. But anyway, that was my experience. That was my experience back in San Diego. Okay, I also had the other unique experience of performing directly after this to a crowd in Bakersfield. Now, San Diego is no San Francisco. Okay, there's not. I don't think there's a fulsome street fair in San Diego. I don't think anyone gets to lie in a trough and be a piss pig. I don't think that that's one of their things, but who knows? Maybe it is. I'm pretty sure it's not. So when you mentioned Trump down there was a lot of like people they're feeling emboldened. They are supporting him now because this is a moment. This is kind of our rah-rah. Look at our motherfucking guy. Look at our dog right now. It has activated the least politically engaged people of all time to be like, he is a motherfucker though. And that's kind of what you actually need. It's just people who weren't going to vote be like, that'd be a fun vote. That feels like a fun vote. Like, I hear a lot of Democrat strategists being like, I'm not sure who recognized Donald Trump's behavior as a threat to democracy, his interest in, and this is kind of boring stuff, but taking over agencies that the executive branch is not supposed to be in charge of, his clear disregard for things like election workers, doesn't matter if they're getting death threats because he just wants his way, and he now has systems in place and the power and interest of other people to help him actually do what he wants to do, to undermine the system of checks and balances, not to become a king, but to do whatever the fuck he wants while he's there because he's all about catching a dub. People will go, how could you go from that and see one image and then say, I'm going to vote for him? That's not who's going to do it. It's a bunch of people who are like, I wasn't really going to vote. It's just two old fucks. They're both crazy to being like, well, one of them's old and the other one's kind of a dog. He's getting the dog vote. That's a dangerous vote. That's a dangerous vote. People forget about the dogs. Okay? I'm dressed like a dog. I pay a little bit too much attention. That's okay. I'm an undercover. I'm a wolf in dog's clothing. You know what I mean? You don't know about wolves. Wolves move different. Wolves move different. We wear the big dog shirt, okay? Wolves, we just look like a dog, but we also know what we're doing, and we're a little bit lethal. People don't know which way I'm coming from, dude. Fuck around, okay? But I went out to Bakersfield, and I wanted to know where people were at. There were a lot of clear Trump people in the crowd. A dude was yelling at me about his Trump hat. Not pleasantly. Yell is maybe a strong word. I talked to 2 dudes with beards who were like, this whole country's fucked. We've been going to win. Trump's got this shit. This didn't even matter. And I was trying to see if they were feeling triumphant, but the energy in the air was a little odd because some of my jokes are critical of America and not just not just critical of like Biden. They're just like maybe as a country sometimes we do bad things, which I think is an okay thing to say. As a person I do. You got to hold yourself to the same standard, okay? But it was very interesting because the set went super different because I tried to have a little bit of fun with it, but people were kind of they were in Trump Bakersfield mode. Okay, that is a part of California. Man, I performed all over the country. I've performed in Texas. I've performed in Florida, red parts of Florida. Obviously, Miami's a different country. I've performed in fucking Tampa. I've performed in Jacksonville. Okay, I don't think I've done Alabama. I would like to. I like doing the whole country. That's the point. Because you learn a lot, especially when you do political material. You learn a lot about, A, how it's landing, but B, just where the country's at. You get more of a pulse check than your friends and family who sit in one place, which, of course, why would someone, it'd be insane for someone who doesn't get paid to do it to fly to, Alabama or vice versa, Alabama to San Francisco and try and yell at people about politics. Those people have problems. But I get to do it, and it makes sense. I think there is no harder place to actually do anything than in a red part of California because they're gassed up, dude. They're ready to go. If you say one fucking queer-ass lib shit, I've seen enough of it. I'm not talking San Diego. I'm talking deep in the cut, dude. Deep in the cut. You don't want to fuck with them boys, all right? They're ready. They're ready to roll. They're pissed. Like, Gavin won't let us drill. He's a fucking bitch. So, yeah, I think we're in an interesting place as a country. I think that's kind of where I'm at. I feel blessed as a comedian that I get to experience this firsthand because this is the sort of stuff that I'm interested in. I want to know how other people think. All right, that's not the greatest way to form your opinions, okay? It's probably better to actually look at, analysis of things that work and like know legislation and things like that. But I'm not in the weeds like that. I just like to go to events and talk to people and find out where people are at. That's what I'm capable of studying, and this has been a week to do it. And what you look at and what you see is not great, but I do get it. I do get it. A lot of people have it's a tense time right now. It's a tense time because everyone's got Twitter fingers. Everyone's making the same joke. Everyone's going, hope they should have hit him next time. If you are genuinely advocating for the former president to get shot, number one, you don't know what that would do because that's very bad. That would be very bad for the country, regardless of what you believe. And number two, you should be more creative. You should have a lot more fun with that. If you're going to have that take, get loose. There is a whole pile of ridiculously unhinged things you could say in a creative and fascinating and even original manner that almost no one else is going to touch. And I challenge you to do that. You shouldn't, but if you're going to say something and get yourself in trouble, get Buck. I think that's a reasonable idea. The Tenacious D canceled their tour because a guy improvised a line on stage. Jack Black brought his co-guitarist, his bandmate, a cake and said something about, like, what do you have a wish? And he said, I wish they wouldn't have missed. And of course, the conservatives do their cancel culture. And, again, you're allowed to be mad at that. I do believe in fuck around and find out. But you are deeply the same. All of you. The hypocrisy, like the left being like, the left does say he's Hitler and that he's a challenge to democracy, and then is surprised when the temperature is risen. But then the people on the right who blame the left for saying that are completely ignoring the fact that almost everything that Trump has done has been with that goal. Raise the temperature, fuck you, get buck, who gives a shit? And that's fine, but that's where we are. So anyone pretending that they're above it on this is crazy. And the funniest part about all of it, in my estimation, is that it is possible that this guy didn't have a political motivation. All this talking in circles that we've done, that we're going to keep doing, that everyone will continue to utilize because it turns into a talking point that everyone wants to discuss, that everyone has to have their soundbite on. All of that is going to spin around and around and around and around over a kid who decided this instead of a school. And you know what? Part of an ear is better than the alternative. So that's a good thing. But it is possible, got to wait for more information, early indications suggest that this might have just been a dude who was trying to make some history, which is crazy. Which is crazy. I try to think about what are the things that could ever turn me into the type of person who would do something so heinous, so potentially destabilizing, so ruthless, so callous, so anti-human as to try to assassinate a president. And I think that would be getting no pussy, which I think was the case. And that's what happens. And it's not right. But sometimes a guy's just not having a good time at the party known as life, and they get crazy. And I don't know how to fix that. I think we need to. I think that's a root cause. How do we make more people feel cool? Because if you feel cool, you're not going to do that. If you're swag, we should have bought this guy a chain. We should have bought him some ice. We should have made him feel swagged out. I don't know if he ever had that feeling. I don't know if he ever felt the feeling of wearing a slightly oversized, perfect vintage Warriors tee with some fun shades, with a Monaco hat. I wish I wasn't wearing my Apple Watch. I don't think he's had that experience. We should have done that for him. It could have saved lives. How do we make everyone feel a little cool? You don't want to commit acts of political violence at all when you feel swagged out. The problem is, not everyone can be cool, because the second uncool people start doing cool things, the cool people have to switch it up. That's the flow of life. I haven't figured out an answer for that. And then also the fact that cool people, you give them a blicky, they might just pull up sideways on the ops and the whole crew. So I cry for us. I wish I had a solution to this political instability. I don't know if it's raising the temperature. Like I said, I've watched a lot of things. I watched Alex Jones on Tim Dillon. There were some takes in there. That was something. He was swigging Tito's vodka, talking about how Trump is already dead. Trump is already dead. They have trucks full of ammunition. They have poison in his food. I mean, the man thrives in a situation like this. Fundamentally incorrect. Well, I would almost put it this way. Streaks of correct underlying principle completely overshadowed by flourishes of demonstrable falsehood. Which, if we're saying, let's put aside the horrible things he's done in the past, discussing Sandy Hook, all these things that have been horrible. If you wanted to defend it a little bit, it's that, sometimes not enough people are talking about what sort of failures are going on at a deep level. That was the problem with this, is the incompetence level was so high, so unbelievably high, that it makes it hard for people to believe it. So if anyone comes and tells you a conspiracy and says, well, of course the Secret Service, they let him go, you have to look at a video online of like 30 minutes of him sitting there, and reports that secret agents Secret Service agents. Very different concept. This could have been a little spy versus spy. Was it a secret agent versus... No. I don't believe that, but it's possible. Anything's possible. The guy was perfect. No social media. A little left, a little right. A little bit like... He gets on the one building. He gets on the one building that local police said, hey, we don't have the coverage to cover this. Secret Service says we have him in our sights, but we're not allowed to fire unless something I don't want to be on my computer, but it was something about you have to prove that he's a clear and present danger, which is why they waited for him to shoot, which is why they were so quick to get him, but they had to wait till he popped off. That seems insane. If someone's lying on a roof with again, the miscommunication, hey, we need to make sure we're not going to kill an innocent bystander with a telescope. We're not going to kill a local police officer we can't get ID on. Sure. Figure it out. Be faster. Be better than that. The level of incompetence probably wouldn't surprise you if you worked within any of these industries, but it is shocking when you assume and respect that they should be decent at their job. So you are left, like, again, I tend to not believe the conspiracy angle because usually the quickest people to jump to it have really, they get off and running. They have really quick and wild takes. And when they're wrong, they never really, except for Alex Jones, have to pay up. And it's fine when they're wrong, and it is what it is. That being said, I know for a fact that what the government releases to us is not the fully declassified reports that it's not a full, hey, here you go, you get to see everything. And I know that for a fact because, I have talked to someone who worked at the Pentagon. The only thing that he said, I don't have really any crazy information, not that I could tell you anyway, but I would tell you working here has helped me develop a thick sense of skepticism towards what the government tells me, towards that there can be more things going on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, right there is why this podcast will absolutely 100% never be successful because I'm incapable of a clear perspective. All I can really do is sit here and digest a bunch of things and tell you, yeah, I looked at it. Bit confusing still. And that's not great entertainment. That's not how you make it in the internet environment. If this was a YouTube thumbnail that said, Trump assassins plot revealed, and I just took a bunch of the things that I had heard that seemed kind of crazy, but F it, let's string them together, and I just fucking cooked. Thomas Matthew cooked. That's a hell of a pod. Or if I said all conspiracy theories debunked, this would be great. But I can't do that, folks, because I told you, all right? I'm not in the weeds. I'm not reading reports. I don't have a guy on the inside, okay? I can't promise to tell you that I know everything. All I can really do is talk to people, listen to people, and kind of vibe it out. And I think the country's a little confused right now. I think the country's a little confused. I don't think the country's in a great place. But the interesting thing is the shooter could have just been one sad guy with a dry penis. And those guys have been dangerous through time immemorial. It's possible. It's highly possible. And it's sad. And boys, we need to get it together. All right, fellas? Until a lady pulls one of these, I'm looking at us. We got to be a little bit better. Okay? When you see a guy with a dry dick and access to an AR-15, I need you to go over there and just make sure you're hydrated because you're going to have to spit on that thing. I'm just kidding. Teach him how. We always make fun of the art of the game guys. Those weird guys who are like, you got to fucking, what was that book? Was it called The Art of Game? How to Spit? The Game Masters, the Sex Gods, the Dong Lords, Dungeons and Doglins. What was it fucking called? It was a crazy book. I'm going to look it up. Teach guys how to have sex book. Teach guys how to fuck book. Teach guys how to sex. How to sex book. This is not a great Google search to have under your belt, folks. How to sex book. It's going to come up too. No, that's teaching you how to do it. The Playmaker. Neil Strauss, that's who it was. Neil Strauss book. The Game. Yes, The Game. Oh, wait, he's now a ex-pickup artist? Okay, well, whatever. He wrote this book called The Art of Game, or Game, whatever the fuck it was. I remember a friend of mine gave it to me in college. I was like, this is so important. Because if I don't fuck everything constantly, all the time, very soon, I don't know if I will ever be okay anymore. That's how I felt in college. And so I got this book, and it had, and the problem is, by the way, because you think that biologically, you're like, daddy needs to smash, but then you go, oh, I actually love women for who they are, and it's not about this. And that's where the book really lost kind of away with me, is that, oh, these people, they're people. So you're reading this book. It's got gold on the outside. It literally, it's like if a bathrobe was a book. And it's insane. It's talking about, I remember, I didn't get through the whole thing, but one of the main things was like peacocking. It was like, show up, dressed insane. Like, and guys always do this when they're trying to impress other guys. It's like, they go to the laws of nature. They're like, it's a jungle out there, dog. It's a jungle out there. And you want to know how you find a mate? We got to take a lesson from the birds. Whoosh. The peacock. Look at it, strutting its stuff, big old feathers. You'd think feathers, that's gay. No, that's the man. So dress kind of gay, but be the man, and then women will be attracted to you, was the concept of this book. So you're just supposed to be a peacock, just showing off, they'll see you, and then whether they hate you, if a girl comes up to you and she's like, why are you dressed, like a fat train conductor, from a steampunk era in a gay candy land, and you're just like, guess you just wanted to come talk to me. That was kind of the concept. And so immediately I'm like, okay, you're in college, and you're thinking, I could try some fits. But then the next thing was like, also like, you got to be horribly mean to them immediately, so you put them in their place. So, like, if a 10 walks up to you, just be like, nice fucking mole on your face, you dumb bitch. And that was like, and I was like, I literally can't do that. I was more like, I love you, I'm going to run away. And that didn't work. So that's why you kind of want to read this book. You're like, well, maybe he has some secrets. Maybe there are some secrets in here. Okay? Things that I need to know to help me fuck. Because if you end up with a dry penis, then you could end up angry. And you don't want to be angry, because then you might end up at a presidential rally. Whether or not you have a gun, you're not at a presidential rally if you're having a good time. Period. Like, no matter what. Like, if your life is going well and you're at a Trump or Biden rally, oh, sweetheart. Not good. There's just... You can stream it. You can watch it. I think you should be informed. You should know what's going on. But if you're wearing the merch from either of them at the thing, not good. That's fine. I don't mind that for you, but it's just sad. And that's what it is. So I don't know why I started talking about The Game. This is probably where it would be nice to have like a co-host or something, but then I wouldn't have been able to get all the way there. Right now I just go, why did I talk about The Game for 10 minutes, aside from the fact that it's that important? Maybe that's the type of stuff. Here's what it is. That's the type of book. It didn't work for me. I didn't need it. I'm lovely. But there are a lot of people out there who need a little extra help, who need to, he was maybe even just trying to stand out. We should have just got this guy a stupid hat and told him to be mean to women, but not with the aim of just doing it, with the aim of eventually finding your way to one. Such an insane concept. People are so sad out there and have so few friends that they're like, I need to do something crazy just for people to look at me. That's sad. That is sad. But objectively, fuck that guy still. And that's why I think he was working alone. Because I think if he started making friends with members of the deep state and kind of felt like he was part of a community, he might not would have done that. But it is crazy, the coincidence. Oh, it's just the one building. Oh, he just, he lived right here. Oh, screw it. He's coming through. Oh, he's coming to me. Let's give it a whirl. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I said it in my joke. Love him or hate him, Trump's got a sense of the moment. He knew how to use that. He knows how to use this. Cards on the table. I've never voted for the man. I have not ever planned to, and don't. But you still go. There was a sense of like when someone gets capped, you just go, oh man. It's like when a player from a team that you hate, retires, and you're like, oh man, but we did battles back then. It's like I'm a free agent, but the left loves Trump. They really do. That's why I think they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it because they would miss him as much as they hate him. That's the thing. Hate and love, folks. Hate and love are a lot closer together than you'd think. Autism is a spectrum. So is love. That's why Love on the Spectrum is the perfect show. 2 circles, kind of a Venn diagram, if you will. Don't always intersect. It can be a little bit hard sometimes. But the point is, it is a spectrum. Indifference is the opposite of love. Hate means you have strong feelings towards someone. And when something scary happens, sometimes you, even for just a moment, go, oh, I didn't mean all that. We should keep that in mind as we do this, as both presidents should safely die soon on their own peacefully by a matter of age, however they want, okay? Because that will happen. You'll miss them when they're gone. You will, okay? And that's why that spectrum of love versus hate is why even though I could never do it, even though I would never do it, that's why negging works. And I don't invent the rules, folks. I just come here to say one simple thing. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Buy the game now in bookstores if you have a dry penis. We need to save the country. Gentlemen, no more being nasty with guns. Please stop. Please cut it out. That is a Joey Show PSA. You can get your dick sucked if you just stay alive a little bit longer. It gets way easier when you're older. Don't go to the school. Don't go to the rally. Don't go to your business, okay? You will get your dick sucked eventually. It's okay. You will get that thing wet. You will calm down. You will be happy for several years. And then you'll become older. You will become disenfranchised. Your penis will grow dry once again. And you will think about picking up that weapon. And I urge you again to not do it under any circumstances. Because even if you're ugly and weird, you can always try being a pickup artist. And that is possible. There are tricks for even the most grotesque among us. Never give up. Never surrender. Never stop trying to smash. And do not bring the gun to any events. Unless you're done with things. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do no, kidding. Demonetized. There goes my 12 cents. We will be nicer to one another, okay? But don't expect anyone to change from this. No one ever changes in this country, okay? We just keep doing the same shit. But, nevertheless, I believe it's not as bad as how it looks when you go online. Because when you go out and talk to people, some of them are drunk and very odd and mean, but most of them are kind of chill if you give them a chat and you look like me. Is that a good take? It's true. So there it is. Once again, some perspectives from a show without any perspective. I'll tell you one perspective that I feel strongly about. Drunk sprinting. Drunk sprinting is an important part of my life. I engaged in it several times over the weekend. I had a big night in Los Angeles. Was out for a shoot with Chubbies, a bunch of people that I used to work with. Lovely clothing brand. We did a fun shoot. We went out after, and we set our intentions early. It was one of those nights. You know, you have a night where you're like, let's party, let's tie one on. We're with the boys we hadn't seen in a while, and I invented a phrase. This was before everything happened. I said, we're going full Biden tonight. We're going to have a Biden night. One of those nights where you talk until your sentences stop fitting together and you have no idea when to call it quits. We're having a Biden night, folks. And boy, shoot, howdy fuck did we. We went out there and we had a goddamn Biden night. We went to Good Time Davy Wayne's in L.A. You walk in, there's an old-timey refrigerator. You open it up, boom, dance floor, indoor bar, outdoor bar, house party vibes, bar vibes. What do you want? We got it. Inside, a refrigerator, party. Let's go. That's what we did. We had a good time. We had a great time. When it was time to leave, I was there with all my friends, and I said, you are not faster than me. And I took off at full fucking clip. I'm talking run like the wind, run, Forrest, run. And I had gone, yes, I had full retard. Sorry, didn't mean to be offensive, but that's where I was at. Full Biden, except was running. Okay, I was absolutely torching the streets of Hollywood. Come to find out, torching the streets of Hollywood like a man who lives on the 10th there. I come to find out that my friends are sitting back there, you know, talking to people, figuring out there's something. What are we doing, boys? Full clip back. Out of breath. I mean, out of breath like a kid who you timed going upstairs. Holding a water bottle. Boys, what are I? Okay, yeah, we're going to go. Pew! Gone. Again. Friend with me. Shin, hurry up. Pew! Can't catch me. Too fast. Why are we running? Bro, you don't get it. Didn't get it. Didn't understand. I was cooking. They didn't come with us. Run back. Pew! Just went on like this. Little soreness in the ankle the next day. That's always scary as a player at my age, this late in his career with as many injuries as I've had, all of them, some of them while inebriated, and in transit. But the thing is, if you've been drinking and you want to get home, you don't have patience. You want to go. And if you've been drinking, you haven't consumed a lot of calories. What's a great idea? Burn a bunch of those. Metabolize the alcohol. Third best thing, showing off for your friends. Look how fast I am. Fifth best thing. How many has it been? I don't know. But if you're drunk, what do you do? You act childish. What do kids do? Run around. It's perfect. And I have so much energy at these times. You know, a lot of my friends this age, they've lost it. They cannot party with it. They want to day drink. You know, nighttime rolls around, they're done. Maybe they don't even day drink. Oh, I got to go to bed. It's 9:30. Guys, you're leaving prime hours on the table. Like this is when things happen. Fun things, sprinting around the street, going to a bar that has this, that has that, all this stuff. People lose their fastball. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Life is one big long opportunity to prove how much of a pussy you are. It's true, but you're showing off, dude, and you're moving fast, okay? And I gain energy sometimes. When I drink, I gain energy until it evaporates. It's a Cliff strategy. It's a classic Cliff strategy. If we could get some sort of graph up here, I have to edit this, so we might not. But Cliff strategy, okay? It means you're gaining energy with each drink. Oh baby, look at that. We're going up. We're going up. To quote a great internet video, I'm on the precipice. I'm looking down the gorge. All right, you're going up, and then it's stop, and we go to bed. It's a Cliff strategy. So anyway, I gain energy because I'm built different. I'm special. I'm a wolf. We've covered this. Next night in San Diego, we do the shows. This is not, the whole first part of this episode talking about the assassination has not happened yet. We go to a bar. We have shots, too many, but energy up, and it's like it's time to have a burrito. And so I do it again, folks. I do it again. I set blazing land speed records. Usain Bolt, okay? type shit in Pacific Beach, California. You know what everyone else is doing? Okay, at night in Pacific Beach, they're running around trying to rummage for a spare piece of dick or pussy, being absolute distracted lunatics. I am sprinting full speed for the sole purpose of showcasing my blazing foot speed. The Olympics are here. They already happened, guys. Are they in Paris? They were in Pacific Beach. And I won gold, I won silver, and I won bronze. I will show you the text message that I sent to my manager, a person that I work with professionally, okay, but also he's the man. And this is what it's like if you want to work with me. If you want to work in the Joey Avery comedic orbit, you're gonna have to deal with this sort of stuff, okay? Where is it? We gotta find. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go. Saturday, 12:22 a.m. This is after a full Biden night, okay? Staying up way too late, waking up on a few hours of sleep, driving to San Diego with no voice, performing, rocking the house for 1 solid hour, going to a bar, taking shots, okay? 12:22 a.m. I'm still up. I'm still moving. Bro, nobody respects my raw speed. Now you understand. This was in response to where the fuck are you? And the answer is you can't catch me because I'm too fast, because I'm a drunk runner, okay? Anyway, hell of a time, as you can imagine, going from the Beer Olympics to performing with Trevor Wallace in Sacramento to being in Tahoe for 10 days to going to L.A., having a full Biden night to going to San Diego and having 2 full show nights, a third night in which we were going to go back, but we did a pool party show when we were paid in hotel rooms, and the only way to make that financially smart was to utilize them, and then driving to Bakersfield, back to L.A., flying back to the Bay. It's been a long period of time, so I'm looking forward to embracing some sobriety, some time on the old edit machine, some emailing, some really boring stuff. But I'm able to do that because I got one important thing out of my system. My raw foot speed, okay? Raw foot speed. So, if you're drinking with me, bring your running shoes because it's going down. We have no quit. We bring physicality. We bring technique. We bring desire, and that's something that I think the world is lacking right now. We lack motivation. We lack desire. We lack the tenacity to build our own community, to spend time with our friends. And that's what leads us to do horrific things. But I challenge you, men, good men, to be good men, to have a good time, to calm the fuck down. Ladies, just maybe nag a little bit less. Other than that, you guys are pretty much killing it. WNBA is popping. All right, folks, I feel like this one's not going to be for everyone, so I'm going to put that disclaimer at the very end. Thank you, folks, for listening. This has been The Joey Show. Please come out. We have, blessedly, a slight gap in the touring schedule. So I'm just going to be, I think my next headlining dates are August 31st in Vegas, but we have for lack of a better word, a fuck dick of them lined up for this fucking spring, holy aneurysm, for this end of summer, fall, winter period. I'm going to be coming to a lot of towns, so if you want to hear about it, join the mailing list, come through to Vegas, and then not going to be on my calendar, but I'll be with Trevor Wallace in Lexington, Kentucky in August. Mid-August, whenever he's there, 15, 16, 17, something of that nature. Please subscribe to the show, like it, comment, subscribe to it on audio, tell your friends, and enjoy your life. We'll see you next week. Thank God I have a podcast.